many of these locations are there, did you say?
This is the third.
Brilliant!
We have plans to open another one in London.
Brilliant!
It's a little bit different than just Guinness, the brand. We really focus on the innovative and experimental aspects of the brand and what that part of the brand can offer.
Brilliant! Brilliant!
Welcome to Digital Hospitality. I'm your host, Sean Walchef. This is a Cali BBQ Media production. We started this crazy little show in 2017, way back in the day. Nobody was listening, nobody was watching, but here we are now 7 years later, and we get to partner with some of the biggest tech brands in the restaurant space, the hospitality space. We get to have some of the best leaders in the space on the show. I've been in restaurant business since 2008. We had this crazy idea to open up a business in a tough location. And I always knew that there were other smart people doing great things all over the world. And this show has given us the opportunity to meet so many really cool people. Today we have Josh Bucens, who is the director of F&B at the Guinness Open Gate Brewery in Chicago. He comes highly recommended from our friends and our partners at F3, Dan Diaz, Dan Dickerson. Part of one of my goals of this year is to ask the people that we know that do deep work in the industry of who are the people that we should be talking to. And you are top of their list. So Josh, welcome to the show. First of all, happy National Championship Day. I know you guys are a Notre Dame bar. So let's take time to figure out how packed are you going to be tonight?
Oh, it's going to be a busy one for us tonight, Sean. We're looking forward to it. Notre Dame's got a lot of energy behind them. We're excited to put an event together tonight to celebrate the championship. Should be a great match.
This year you had Joe Montana come and visit the brewery. Is that right? You had a watch
We did,
party?
yeah. Yeah, Joe was with us in December. It was awesome to have him on site. I mean, Joe's resume speaks for himself. We're just happy to be a part of the action. And he came out. We had a good time. Notre Dame did their thing, and here we are. A few weeks later, celebrating the championship matchup.
So when did you get tapped to be the F&B director of this project?
Yeah, so I got tapped actually. Let's see. Wow, it's been a while. We've been open for over a year and a half now. I came on board May of 24. May, June-ish, that's an area of 23, was when this project first got brought to my attention. It's from a good friend of mine who had recently started with Diageo. They told me that they have this cool brewery that they're trying to bring to life in the West Loop. He said, "You're the guy for it." I got excited about the opportunity, and two and a half short months later, I was on site. Hard hat, steel-toed boots, sort of looking after the build-out and working with the team from the ground up.
How do you become the guy that they tap?
That's a great question. It's a great question. My background's pretty diverse. I have a little bit of nightclubs sprinkled in there, a little bit of restaurant, a lot of bar experience. Most recently before that, I was working with the 50/50 group, who's pretty well known for just a diverse array of businesses and enterprises that they've entered themselves into. So, my background's in finance, accounting, and economics, and I ended up in the hospitality world, and so just like a perfect mixture, which brought me to Guinness.
That's awesome. Tell me about working with a global brand like Guinness. How do they support you on a local level?
Yeah, I mean, it's been incredible. We get a lot of support from the brand team. This event that we're doing tonight is something that's going to be co-sponsored by the brand team. And so when you have that sort of global footprint behind you, in a city that's probably, I'd say, equally as global, by demographic and by footprint, it's sort of like the perfect recipe for success. In terms of sort of how we sort of tie into what they're doing on a large scale, bits and pieces of the story we share, and then there's some pieces of that story that are purely just local Chicago. The Guinness Open Gate Brewery, which is the portion of the business that I work for and I assist with, was a little bit different than just Guinness, the brand, or the national brand. We really focus on the innovative and experimental aspects of the brand and what that part of the brand can offer the community.
What kind of experimental stuff are you guys doing?
Anything from craft brews, so classic beer styles like IPAs, pilsners. We do doppelbocks. We pretty much do anything that you would find in a typical craft brewery. Guinness is very well known for our classic draft stout, for an extra stout, And the space that we have in Chicago and Baltimore, and then we'll be opening one soon in London, is really celebrating the other side of the brand. Some of the brand that may have been shrouded in mystery or mystique, and we're choosing these locations to sort of share some of that magic that Guinness has been known for over 250 years.
How many of these locations are there, did you say?
This is the third.
This is
so
the
we have
third?
plans to open. Yeah, we have plans to open another one in London sometime in 2025.
That's
I'll leave
awesome.
that sort of open-ended. Construction has been interesting.
Will you be a part of that project in London?
I will not personally be part of that project. That's just going to be our fourth location.
Okay.
Some of the members from the core team are going to be moving on to assist that project, while we'll be leaving others sort of where they are in their current brand homes.
That's awesome. Can you tell me about the technology that you guys use to power your restaurant and brewery?
Yeah, sure. So our POS provider is Toast. I've been working with Toast from the start. I like Toast a lot. I think from a user experience and also just a customer facing experience, they have a pretty nice interface. We partnered with F3 Technologies to help bring some of that technology to life. Dan Diaz, you mentioned them earlier, is a good friend of mine, along with Dan Dickerson. These guys have been with us from the start. And what we look for, when it comes to a partner like that, is someone that's going to be there no matter what. These guys don't work sort of 9 to 5 hours. Dan, I know you know him well. Guy's bootstrapped everything. So he's a great personality, a great entrepreneur. And it's been a pleasure working with him to sort of bring the restaurant to life. They assisted us a lot last year during St. Patrick's Day. We did a massive street festival activation. I'm not sure if you'd heard anything about it, but we saw about 12,000 guests and
12,000 guests. That's amazing.
Yeah, it was a massive footprint for us. It was a great opportunity for exposure, but with a great opportunity like that, it's also a great opportunity to be exposed, right?
Great. That's a good quote right there. That's a great quote.
Dan made sure that we were up and running. It was a fantastic activation. Like I said, it was just a pure scale. For me personally, it was the largest thing that I'd done on that sort of scale as well. We're welcoming people from all over the world, not just from Chicago.
Yeah.
St. Patrick's Day in Chicago truly is a global holiday. I'll say it again and again until I'm blue in the face. And we saw it last year, post-COVID. I'd say last year was like that first year that we really saw such a nice sense of elasticity or rebound back to what life was pre-COVID.
Now we've never done events. Well, actually, we have probably when we partnered with the Del Mar Thoroughbred Club to put on professional barbecue contests. But I know the logistics and the planning. It takes a lot out of you to pull off a festival of that size, of that scope. Can you share? Are you planning on doing it again next year?
This year, we do have some fun plans. It's 2025 now. I got to keep reminding myself and changing that date.
What year is it?
It's one of them. It's one of them.
It's one of those years.
Exactly. We're a quarter of the way through the century, right? So
yeah, exactly. Right. Wow, that's scary to think about.
Yeah, February is coming up too. But March will be quickly following it. We will be doing something pretty spectacular for St. Patrick's Day. It will be a little bit different than last year, but we are sort of learning and moving as we can. We're working with what the city's allowing us to do and what we're able to do from just a personnel standpoint. But it will be something that's worthwhile, and I'm excited to be a part of it this year too.
When you guys switched over to Toast, did you start with Toast or did you switch?
We started with Toast.
Okay.
So I've worked with quite a few different POS providers. Toast, like I said, just seems to be sort of creme de la creme for what our business needs are in the salad restaurant and service that we're aiming to produce. And it's versatile. The Toast team has been very accommodating as far as developing features when we've needed them, supporting us. We've needed that support too. And then, like I said, F3 IT has really just sort of been the metaphorical sand in the jar of marbles. They've been there filling in the gaps where Toast has needed a little bit of extra support too.
How big is the team running the restaurant?
Yeah, so our management team's about 12 to 14 strong. It oscillates a little bit with season. It's a big team. We have well over 100 employees. That number again sort of climbs as we get into the warmer months. Between the seating capacity inside and then our added seating capacity on the patio. On a given day, we could have 10 to 15 servers, making sure that we're able to take care of our guests. The brewery isn't just a F&B space, and I do want to call that out too. We have a fantastic retail operation We also have a cafe and bakery that
Wow.
does quite well on its own too. So we fit quite a lot into 16,000 square feet. That's
huge.
not all customer facing either. Of course, we have a brew operation. We have a 10-barrel system that we manage to squeeze in all of that too. Our two brewers, Megan and Nate, are just fantastic. They're really the, we call them beer chefs. They're the chefs behind the magic inside. Chef Taylor, our CDC, has been with us from the start. Very passionate about what she does, and she's helped bring a lot of these activations to life that we have going on in the brewery.
That's awesome. Let's talk about mentorship, people that you look up to or you've learned from. Do you have any stories of people that have taught you the game within the game in this business?
There's quite a lot, honestly. Carmen Rossi is somebody that I looked up to for a long time. He's quite well known in the Chicago market for just, sort of really being at the forefront of all things hospitality. Josh Ralph, nightlife director for Dynamics, somebody that I looked up to for a long time. When I was in college, actually, one of my very first jobs, I was going out for my 21st birthday at a prison nightclub, and I ran into this guy and. Hey, my name's Josh, and we sort of connected through my celebration. He's like, you brought quite a few people out. Is this something you think you could replicate so week in, week out? And I was like, I'm willing to try. I learned a lot just about sort of basic hospitality. I mean, this guy is somebody that would come into the restaurant every day, and he'll say hi and bye to every single person before he enters or exits, starts a shift or finishes a shift. And it doesn't matter what position you're in, starts with the dishwashers, the front door guys, and all the way up to, the VIP hosts and, the servers that are helping the magic happen on the floor. But his just philosophy to business and his philosophy to hospitality, what can I do for you? How can I help you? And just truly being that connector, I learned quite a lot from. And he's someone that I'm still very close to today. I just saw the guy a couple of weeks ago, but he's a good dude. He's doing some pretty big things as well in town.
When you find people within your organization or people that in the Chicago area that reach out to you for advice in this hospitality space, what are some of the lessons or stories that you impart on them?
It really depends on what the specific ask is, but a lot of it's sort of built around resilience and staying true to what you do. I think there's a lot of opportunity out there right now and a lot of confusion. A lot of people are doing some very cool things in a wide array of spaces, and sometimes it's hard to know what to do next. Yeah. And whenever I think that question comes up, what's the best next thing I can do? It's what are you doing right now? That's the most important thing. There's nothing too small or too big to do very well. A lot of times I'll have some people saying, "Hey, I'm having trouble sort of drilling down onto this one specific area," and like I said, it's just resilience. It's moving that metaphorical salt and pepper shaker right back to the center of the table every single time. Just being patient with yourself, being patient with the team, and being patient with the business. All of these things take time to grow and to come together, and it takes constant watering and nurturing to make sure that you're able to grow into something that truly does flourish in the way that you expect it to.
Can you talk a little bit about how important the food is at a concept like yours? I know you're obviously beer first with brewery, but I looked at the menu. I see the people. I've checked you guys out on social, the amount of user generated content, and a lot of it is like really great food. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, it's funny that you bring that up, Sean. So I say it all the time, people expect us to have great beer, right? But we bring them in with a great beer and we wow them with the great food. Being located in the West Loop, we almost have a duty to our neighborhood. We have some of the highest chef-driven restaurants per capita in the globe. And, being part of an environment like that, we got to come to play. Mm-hmm. We don't want people to just come hang out with us for happy hour or to grab a quick pint and then to move somewhere else. We want people to stay. Guinness and our brewery is truly a place that's meant, to share stories, to hang out, to reconnect with people, to put screens down and really focus on what's in front of you. And in order to do that, you're going to get hungry at some point. So with us, we're able to help tie that story together by having excellent food. Our menu is very diverse. I like to say it represents sort of the global footprint and nature of our brand. We have things from the Far East. We have things that might represent the English market. We have so many neighborhoods to tap into in Chicago to sort of represent what makes Chicago or to bring a little piece of Chicago to our menu too. So really that's a tool that we use to empower our culinary team. They take it and run with it.
What's different about Chicago hospitality? What makes you guys unique?
Chicago hospitality is welcoming. I'll say it over and over again about the Midwest. We truly, compete for business with every other great restaurateur, brewery, and bar in the local Chicago market. Every time I leave Chicago, I remember how much I like Chicago when I come back. I was just down to Miami for Art Basel in December, and I got to experience a lot of the food and drink down there, and it just feels different. There's almost that sort of that Midwest like comfort and like, hey, we want you to come in and hang out with us. It's not a turn and burn environment. It very much is, about quality selling and putting together experiences that matter to people that they'll remember forever.
Can you share a story, whether it's before this current position or in this current position, of something that you will never do again? I was live streaming this. I was live streaming this weekend at our restaurant. We're going on YouTube Live a lot, and I'm, doing a lot of behind the scenes content with my catering team, my barbecue team, my media team, just kind of like day in the life. And during the live stream, I was talking to my general manager, my front of the house, my catering manager, and we're like, oh yeah, remember that time? Like, oh yeah, we're never going to do that again. And like, there's all these things that like in the back of our heads, we have this PTSD of like, we had this great idea, we ran this special, or we did this event, and we're like, we're never going to do that again. Do you have any stories like that? I mean, I know you have stories. Like, can you recall any stories like that? You can't be in this business and not have stories of what we'll never do again. But my job and my goal with content is to start bringing people back in so that like, if somebody else watches this, they go, hey, I saw that interview. Thank you for saying that, because we were about to do a festival and you told me how difficult it was to do a festival.
Yeah, I'd say, really, stay within your wheelhouse. And what I mean by that is not take risks or, do things that might take, sort of a greater commitment of time or energy, but make sure that it's measured. Make sure you're not taking your eye off the ball. Make sure that it's relevant to what you're doing. Aside from all the things that are sort of blocked out of my mind through the trauma pod, one that does come to mind is actually, I talked about Art Basel, and this wasn't with Guinness. I was helping out with a different project that I've been working on too. But we were tasked with throwing an artist dinner down in Miami, and we didn't have the time to really get it done. This opportunity came to us within about 2.5 weeks of when the event was taking place. I was actually traveling at the time too. I was in London. So I was on a different time zone from my core team here in Chicago. And, I got the text. I was like, hey, we have this opportunity. Should we do it? And all of us were like, yeah, let's do it. It's great. That sounds awesome. And as the day got closer, and, we realized that, we were behind in some areas. In some areas we were way ahead of the game, but we really pushed this timeline. We made the dinner happen. It was great. Our guests had a fantastic time. There's quite a few who's who people down there. We're at this beautiful house that we're able to host this dinner in. And to our guests, everything went right. To us as operators and as a team, we had a several hour long conversation after talking about, hey, we are never going to do something like this again at this amount of time, and here's why. And truly, it was one of those things where, given the time and, had we had the right runway and, would we do it again if we could, really control some of the costs, look at all the levers that we needed to be successful in this event? Absolutely. But was it relevant to, the next 6 months, next 12 months of our business? Maybe not. So really just being measured. And it's funny, after that, I learned quick, we had an opportunity to do something, end of this month, and similar sort of time frame. It was like 3 weeks. And I said, guys, no. We're not. And we have to learn from it. And I'd say that's really the key takeaway is, after you bite off more than you chew, swallow, digest, move on, don't do it again. Be smart about it, because especially when you're starting to build a business or a new concept, when you're talking about consumer perception, credibility, when it comes to hosting an event, executing, if you manage to get by and you're like, "Ooh, that one wasn't great," or that one didn't feel great to us internally, let's not do it again. Let's learn from that mistake and move forward.
What are you excited about for 2025? What are you guys working on that you can share?
Oh, everything. Yeah, I mean, there's honestly not a whole lot that I can share, but this year is going to be a big year. Like I said, I have a couple side projects that I'm working on right now that are gaining legs and walking faster than we thought they would. But it's gonna be a big year in Chicago, I think, for just growth here in the West Loop. I mean, we're seeing it already. There's just crazy construction development that's going on. I know Gibson's has got plans to come to the West Loop. The big West Loop just opened. Adelina Prime's right around the corner. So you're just seeing a lot of, when you start to see that sort of conversion on an epicenter, you're either too late or right in time, right? At this point, with the projects that we have going on the side, I think we're right on time. So it's going to be a great year, 2025, and really looking forward to celebrating with the rest of the Chicagoans.
What advice do you have for leaders in the hospitality space that are working with teams? I mean, you have a big team, over 100. You've got a lot of managers. How do you guys? How do you recruit the right talent? Because I think that's part of the biggest part is drawing in the people that actually want to be here. Because it's not an easy, it's a beautiful business, but it's not easy. You have to be resilient. You have to want to be there. You've got to have hospitality in your blood. You have to have it in your DNA.
Yeah, to take time while hiring. I'll say that over and over again. We went out without a retail manager at Guinness for almost 6 months, and the reason for that wasn't because we didn't have interest. We did, but it was because we wanted to find the right person. Once you have sort of those 5 characteristics of the people that you want on your team, whether it's resilience, creativity, optimization, a background with big commercial brands, whatever those 5 to 10 things are, write them on a paper, and while you're going through your interview process, don't take your eye off those.
Yeah.
Stay focused on them. Find the right people. Don't find the first people. Be patient and listen. That's probably the number one thing. Listen to what people say. They'll genuinely or generally rather tell you who they are. Throughout the interview process, throughout the follow-ups, and it's important things to be attuned to. I know you might be working long hours. I've been there. 60, 80-hour weeks, but again, it's worth it. Instead of finding the wrong person, making a hire that you think could help you short term, and then being back in the same position 6 months later. When we talk about growth, it's one of those things that we don't want it to stop, right? We don't want to plateau. We don't want to lose momentum. And people will consistently bring you that momentum. We're starting this new business. This is, the 3rd restaurant that I've been a part of, to open and build. And there's going to be people that get you from what I like to say 0 to 1 or 0 to 3. And you might need a new set of people to get you from 3 to 10, depending on who those people are that you hire. If those are people whose skill sets you can develop to get you from 3 to 5, 5 to 8, 8 to 10, and so on and so forth. That's great, but make sure that you're listening to the operation, listening to your team members, listening to the staff, and most importantly, of course, listening to your guests. You'll find the right people.
Awesome. So every single Wednesday, every Friday, we do a Rising Tides live call. So if you're watching this interview, if you're listening afterwards on the digital hospitality feed, please join our live show every Wednesday, every Friday, 10 a.m. Pacific time, 1 p.m. Eastern time, 6 p.m. London time. You can go to Rising Tides. You can go to betheshow.media/Rising Tides and sign up to join the show. It's a chance for you guys to be on a live podcast. Before I let you go, Josh, I need to know about your personal tech stack. So are you an Android or an iPhone user?
Guiltily, I am an iPhone guy.
Why guiltily? Where's the guilt coming from?
I feel like when you say that you're an iPhone guy, if the other person, if the other side's an Android, you sort of get a funny look. But
oh yeah, no. For all the interviews I've done with our personal tech stack, I think maybe 1% or maybe 5% are Android users. So most.
Okay.
I mean, yeah, you're in safe company, I guess. Which version?
Right.
Which version?
Which version?
Which phone do you have? Did you just upgrade? Do you have an old phone? What's up?
I got a 13 Pro Max. The upgrade actually is funny. I just upgraded my mother's phone for her, and I was looking at that 16. I was like, oh, might be time. Might be time
for that Apple Intelligence.
Yeah, and then I got the newest MacBook Pro on the market. That's something that I've been something that's important to me. My laptop, laptop's the main tool. I do everything on it. I want to make sure it's something that I'm happy with, and most importantly for me, I like to be able to move between my phone and my laptop seamlessly. Okay. And I have that capability with Apple. I'm not gonna lie. The webcam's not my thing. I got the Logitech Brio.
I have it too. The Logitech Brio is a great cam. What's wrong with that?
It's amazing. But that's my only thing I'll say. Like I don't use the Apple FaceTime camera, whatever that is.
Oh yeah, no.
But really gotta go big for for the right things. So, but yeah. Oh, actually, that's the one last thing I'll say. When it comes to hiring and building a big team, make sure you have technology that can support your growth. As you scale, you don't want to be on something that's sort of not able to grow with you.
How do you communicate with your team? What tech do you use? Are you guys on Slack?
Microsoft Teams. We use Microsoft Teams.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that Guinness mandated or is that you internal?
It's mandated by the hospitality operating company that we work for. So that's the tech stack that we're given. So
awesome, cool. How many emails do you get a day?
Depends on the day and what we got going on, but I'd say anywhere from about 60 to 100, depending on what time of year it is. But quite a lot going back and forth, especially when we have big events like tonight.
How many do you enjoy reading?
Oh, all 60 to 100. 100%. I don't want anybody to stop emailing. I don't want anybody to stop emailing me here, Sean, after seeing this interview. No, that's another thing. I don't care if I get the same message twice. I'm just glad that my team's communicating. All of it's important. And if anything, it's an affirmation when I get the same note saying, "Hey, we want to do this," and I get it from somebody else, "Hey, we think this is the best path forward." And as long as there's that consensus there, I'm like, okay, the team's talking, things are moving forward, and we're doing the right thing.
Apple Maps or Google Maps?
Apple Maps. No competition.
Maps. No competition.
Sorry, Google.
Which music platform do you use?
Spotify.
Okay.
Yeah. Sorry, Apple Music.
No problem. What's your favorite social media app? Where do you spend the most time?
You got me, Sean.
None?
No, I'm trying to.
TikTok?
I'm trying to get up. No, I'm trying. Oh, thank God, not TikTok.
Snapchat? You're on Snapchat?
I'm not a Snapchat guy either. It's actually funny. So I deleted.
Are you live streaming on Twitch? Where are you spending your time?
Instagram, LinkedIn.
Instagram, LinkedIn. Okay.
Yeah, I spent a good amount of time still on Facebook. I'm one of those old cats, but
yeah.
Snapchat, Twitter are things of the past for me. I actually recently deleted both last year, or X, or whatever the platform's called now. And I find as many platforms as it's fun and nice to be plugged into, they all eat at scarce time. Where am I willing to spend some time? Instagram's how I stay connected to my personal network. LinkedIn's how I stay connected to my professional network. I don't need a whole lot outside of those two arms.
Awesome. And what should I order when I come to visit, when we come out for Chicago? We come out every year, at least multiple times. Definitely one time. We're definitely coming for National Restaurant Association show. We do a lot of content with our partners out there. What do I need to order from the food menu?
From the food menu, our chickpea coconut curry is a staple of mine. Eat that a couple times a week. It's pretty versatile as far as the proteins that you can add to it. Sometimes it goes shrimp, sometimes it goes chicken. If I'm feeling a little overzealous, I'll throw some fried chicken on there too. But that dish is, generally hearty, good for you. When it's -6 outside like it is right now, it'll just warm you right up. If you're looking for a classic, one of our classics, or some of our best known hits, the Guinness stew is always going to be something I push people towards if it's your first time in the brewery. I tell people have a pint, have a draft stout, grab the stew or try the fries. Once you realize that we can do those things pretty well, explore the rest of the menu. Get a little bit more creative and innovative with your approach. Our tap list can stand up to any tap list in the world. I'll say that with confidence. And our food menu is right there behind it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, love to have you.
Yeah, absolutely. Can't wait. You guys can follow Guinness Brewery CHI on Instagram. We'll put links in the show notes. You can follow Josh on Instagram. You can connect with him on LinkedIn. Go Irish. Let's go.
Go Irish. Should be a fun night today, man. Thanks, Sean. It was a pleasure being on the show.
Yeah, no, it was awesome. Appreciate it, Josh. If you guys want to reach out to me, I'm weirdly available at Sean P. Walchef, ShawnPWalchef. Instagram's the fastest, but LinkedIn's just as fast, and all the platforms. Josh, we appreciate it. And shout out to Dan Diaz and the F3 team for sending us people that we should be highlighting. We appreciate it, man. It's been awesome.
Yeah, it's been great, Sean. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Brilliant!